Hello and welcome to Define Your Rules, your weekly rebel energy booster. So today's topic is actually, I have the wrong topic here. Oh my God. Okay, let me just go on to full mode because the topic is not cross-sector career moves. Today's topic is year-end rituals. And today is actually the first time I'm streaming live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you see this on YouTube, welcome to everybody. So, year end rituals, as many of you might look back at the year past, look ahead to the year that comes. You might be into New Year's resolutions or not. You know what? If you don't like New Year's resolutions, play it by your rules and don't do them. Now, I still think there is some value of looking back and looking ahead, and I do it a bit differently. Often I notice goals and resolution is all about what we do. And often it's much more important how we do it, how we want to show up. Because even let's say you hate your job and you want to change your job because you hate your job, but if you don't change your mindset, your attitude, and how you show up, you'll just have the same issues in your new job. So I deeply believe that paying attention to how you show up is much more powerful than some New Year's resolutions that probably by February you'll already have forgotten about it. And rebel energy, mindful rebel energy, can help you with this. So, as always, I have my cup of tea. Bring your cup of tea or coffee. I have prepared about 15 minutes input. If you're live and you see this, give me a wave. Um, if you watch the replay, feel free to comment anyway or drop me a direct message, share what resonated, whatever it might be. So let's get started. So I'm not only doing this because this is the time of the year and that's when everybody is doing it, and you might actually be sick and tired of everybody talking about the same things. I also do that because I noticed in some recent engagement I had at different events where I participated, I noticed that most people don't lack motivation. What they often lack is clarity, confidence, and courage to really follow through on what they set out to do and what they wanted to do. And also systems and simple tools to actually do it. So that's why I wanted to share a few ideas that, in my view, work better than goals alone. I mean, you can still have goals, but I recommend to combine them with rituals, with intentions. And before we get there, let me just explain a little bit the difference between intention and goals, because they're kind of similar and they're easy to be mixed up. And I mean, I actually went through art therapy last year. It was amazing. We built like little pots and stuff. But part of that exercise was to always state with the intention we bring to the session. And every week we were all grilled to really distinguish between intention and goals because it's so easy to mix them. So let me give me a very pragmatic example about goals or intentions. And let's use the example of running. As you might know, I'm a runner. Let's use marathon running. So one goal of running a marathon could be I want to come in at that time in 4 hours and 5 hours, whatever your goal might be. An intention is more how you want to show up. It's I want to enjoy the moment. I want to savor each moment. I want to feel energized. I mean, that's maybe again a goal. But it's more how you want to experience it. And when I did my one and only marathon, now it's almost more than 10 years ago, I did have a target time. But I also had intentions, and I wanted to savor the moment and enjoy and not just compete for the sake of competing. And I do remember those little moments during those 4.5 hours. It was Munich. Um, the leaves that were falling down in the English garden, the families playing. I took the time to pay attention to that because I had set the intention that I want to really savor this whole moment. So just to repeat, goals are outcome focused. Intention is more how you show up. And you can, even if you don't reach your goal, you can still enjoy the journey if you frame it more around intentions. So let's get back to the year-end review and how to look ahead to the new year and new ways how you could do that. And of course, you might do whatever is your style, scribble down, like do a brainstorming, look back at last year, flip through your photos. Looking back helps because it gives you a sense of gratitude and perhaps even of accomplishment, because even if your year was really rough and you had some dips and it wasn't easy, chances are that now you're in a bit better place. So even seeing that the journey could be useful. So start there with a review, but also really with a focus on gratitude and joy. What were you grateful for? What did you enjoy? And for the moments that were difficult, what did you learn from that? And one fun way of doing it that I just learned from a fellow coach, so Gaia, if you're listening in, this is a shout out to you. I love this tool, is to think about it more as a movie. So step out of your own perspective. Don't just review it how you perceived it, but imagine you're somebody watching the movie of you of this year. What happened? What did the hero, that's you, experience? What is it easy? Was it hard? Where does the story end? Is there a lot of suspense? What's coming up next year? So this exercise could really be a playful and a fun way to take a new perspective at your year. And then think ahead for next year. And if you haven't seen it yet, I wrote this month's newsletter on the topic. So I have a very not heavy, like a very comprehensive way of going through this phase between now and beginning of next year. And I build like new habits every year. For many years, I've been doing not really New Year's resolution. I used lifestyle design techniques. So I would write what I want to have done, be and have by end of next year, without going into specific objectives. So I've been doing that for over a decade. But then I built like new little tools here and there, and I tested new things, and some of them worked, some of them worked a bit less. But essentially what I do between now and beginning of next year is I reduce on social media. I really go a little bit into the family holiday cocoon. I go into reflection mood, I go quiet, maybe I clean out my house a bit. So I really quite consciously take a moment to pause and breathe. And then look ahead for next year. And then what I would suggest, the way to look ahead to next year, instead of doing just big, bold resolutions that anyway you have forgotten by February, think of different ways of doing that. Perhaps you want to set a theme for next year. What's next year all about? Maybe this year was all a roller coaster with a lot of change. Maybe next year is finding a new destination. Maybe this year was all about excitement and next year is more about going calm. What is the bigger theme you want to set out for your year? And linked to that, then what are the intentions? How do you want to show up? You might also want to do that based on things you need. I mean, you need maybe inspiration, or you need more fun, or you need calm. And then just get clear what you wish for yourself for next year and write it down in whatever way. Make a collage. I'm a big fan of collages. Whatever speaks to you, try something that captures more the spirit you want to have for you and your family next year. And then, of course, there are many tools you can use to become clearer on some goals that are linked to that. So I'm not against goals. I just think goals alone don't work. So once you're clear on your intention, your theme, whatever it is, then you can do this simple exercise of writing down what you want to start, stop, and continue doing. Being really clear, and don't have too many, 3 max for each of them, to have some first set of priorities. But don't get stuck there. Because if that's all you do, chances are that if you're lucky, you check back on that document mid-year and you realize you haven't done anything. And then you do something over the summer and then you check back again by year end, and nothing happened. So the art to do this is then start with tiny changes, tiny habits, tiny rituals to implement. Because I'm so passionate about this, I talked to a behavioral science expert who came on my podcast. It'll come out next Tuesday. So we'll really go into how to build these small habits. And if you haven't done so, you can also read the book Atomic Habits that also talks about a bit this. But the idea is quite simple. Pick one habit at a time. Don't try to change a million things at once because, again, chances you feel overwhelmed, you get frustrated, you don't do it. So that's the first, one small habit at a time. And really small habits, start with something that you can start really small, like a minute a day or 2 minutes a day, and then you slowly build up. But the important thing is to make it a habit. And there are different theories, whether you need 30 days or 60 days or whatever you need. The important thing is that you show up regularly and that you get a reward. Your brain gets a reward for showing up. That could be just a moment of joy, it could be feeling proud, but that's basically a positive reinforcement that want you do it again. And it also works for bad habits. Rather than just saying I want to stop smoking, think about how you can replace it with something more positive. One example that I get stuck every year, I always have one of my, it's probably a resolution, is to reduce screen time. And it's one of those things the brain doesn't get the word no. So if you say, like, I don't want to watch so much TV, my phone, my computer, wherever you have a screen. So I try to replace that with what I want to do instead. Spend time with the family, play the piano, read, do anything that is not in front of a screen. I'm not very good at that, but again, it's one of my intentions, resolutions, whatever you want to call it, for next year. So these were kind of the big thoughts around this. So just to bring it all together and also conscious of time. And again, if you're online, give a wave or drop a comment. Now it's the moment. I'll be happy to hang around for a bit longer to answer questions or just exchange. So to bring it together, I observed what we all need, what certainly I need, so you might need it too, in life in general, and this is just a good moment to reflect on this, is clarity, confidence, and courage. So this moment is a first moment to get some clarity. So that's a great starting point. And the habits can help you build confidence as you see how you smoothly progress. And then think about how you could get some more courage, or where you need more courage. We all might have things that we wanted to do and would like to do, and we're not doing it because we're afraid of something, or we just have to jump into the cold water and we don't do that. So give it a thought where you need courage and how you could get it. So with this, that was a quick one. Have your coffee, enjoy it, and yes, be in touch as always. Get back to me, share if this is useful. I'm also reviewing everything I do online. Now, as said, first time on Tube Live. Let's see how that goes. Do I keep that format? Do I change the format? Do I stop doing LinkedIn Lives for now? Everything is on the table. So if you have any feedback, whether what worked, what didn't work, do let me know. Also, just that I'm gearing up. I'm developing some new exciting things. I'm actually developing a 3-month leadership coaching experience, kind of thinking a mix of leadership development, adventure spirit, and coaching, including individual coaching. It's still very much in the making. It's the type of program I would have loved to do myself. And I'm sending the waves out there for the ones out there that are on the same wavelength and that want to have some adventure, want to reconnect with nature, and want to get clarity, confidence, courage next year. If you're curious and you'd like to know more about it, drop a message into the comment section, send me a personal message. I'm happy to share more. The first thing for people based in Geneva, I'll be doing early next year. I'll test a horse-assisted coaching module that I will run in partnership that I've been dreaming about for 20 years, which will be part of the Launcher program. And then I'll get a pioneering crew to pilot the full program up and running fairly soon in the new year, which will come at a very pioneering price. So if you're curious, drop me a message. And yes, with this, have a wonderful festive period. I hope you'll have time to disconnect, to calm down, to quiet your mind, to spend some amazing time with your loved ones, wherever they might be, or just with yourself. And then have an intentional and exciting start into the new year. I see you in 2026. Bye for now.